Welcome to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Kind of jacked up this morning. We have one of my brothers in transportation, one of my brothers in safety on today for an interview. Drive Safe Dave. I am pumped up, baby. I can't wait to get Dave on here from Utility Pro. They're one of our sponsors. We love their gear, and it's all about safety with them and saving lives. Not only in that trucking industry, but in anything you do. If you're a crossing guard, we got gear for you. If you're a school bus driver, we have gear for you. If you are in transportation, you're a driver, you're looking for that safety gear, we have that for you as well. And if you just want to wear something to a restaurant, you want to know what is it like to be like Sir Rick. We have that for you as well. Drive Safe Dave. I called the game yesterday. KU wins. Bam! Sir Rick once again putting down his foot, showing the world that he knows the sporting events.
Can I just say that I took North Carolina and 4 points. What did KU? What did I took Carolina and 4 points? What
you
did
just took Carolina.
I took North Carolina and 4 points.
No, you took Carolina. I took KU. That was just a game. We weren't talking points yesterday.
No, yeah,
it was
exactly.
just a Carolina.
I even prefaced it by saying I will take them and the points.
I'll have to go back and review that to see what he said. Just like I like to go back and review what we say here with our president as well. Did you hear President Biden yesterday? Did you see the trucks? First of all, kudos to the trucking industry for making its presence once again at that White House. Trucks and trailers out there on the White House showing America who we are.
Pretty impressed that they allow them to drive them things out there on the lawn. But
I'm sure there was a little bit of checks in there, right? I'm sure they had the dogs sniffing on that. They had the mirrors underneath it, everything going on. But you had Ellen from Women in Trucking out there. You had Chris Spear from ATA out there. You had everybody in trucking out there.
Steve Buttigieg was there with the transportation secretary.
Pete. Mayor Pete. You got the last name right. That's impressive on its own.
Buttigieg. You got Mayor Pete.
Hey, but Dave, when he was talking about, he talked about a couple different things. A couple of things were getting more people in our industry, specifically the veterans and the women in the industry.
Yeah, I know. It was speaking to it about adding more people coming in, but I'll tell you, as we talk about that, what was really impressive was he mentioned, more importantly, working conditions for the drivers. Working conditions. That was probably one of his biggest points that he made in this speech, that the working conditions need to be improved.
Give me some examples on what the working conditions that he was speaking of.
Well, he talking about better parking. Talking about wasting their time. Talking about making it safer for them, and talking about different avenues of making it a more appealing industry for bringing in workers, not just making it for not just and how you're going to draw those people in, like the what do you call them, the veterans and the women.
Yeah, so talk to me. How does, give the president some advice here, Drive Safe Dave. Here he is. He's calling me. He called Sir Rick up, says, can you get with Drive Safe Dave? He's been in the market. He is a market expert. Drive Safe Dave, can you tell the president today ways that he can make that more specific? Well, what can he do for that wait times?
Well, what he can do for the wait times is that he can make sure that those are paid times. Those moments, those times are paid. There's no more free. No more free. We don't have any more free times.
And so I hear that, and I was afraid you're going to say that, because I'm not sure that's a presidential thing. I don't know if that's a government thing where they go out there and they start now telling people when and when they can't get paid. Producers, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, do you agree with Dave?
I think you should just negotiate the rates better. I think it should be something the industry says, hey, we're all going to come together, and we're not going to charge for free. I
get it. And if you want to go back to that, I'm talking about what he was saying in his administration and what they believe. Me personally,
I just asked you personally.
No.
Didn't I say, hey, asked you what you would tell the president?
Okay, what I would tell the president was
President, come inside our business.
Laissez-faire is probably what I would say.
Yeah, I'm saying you were saying come into our business, run the whole thing. That's what you said. Throw it down, smack it up.
I mean, he could say he wouldn't enforce antitrust. He could say, well, we'll encourage you guys to to all come together to do it, and we're not going to enforce the antitrust, part of it.
I would say
it's a market thing on that. So I heard you say that. Now the parking, and that's why I didn't ask you. The parking, I believe they can do.
Why can't that be market? Why can't that? Why can't the market?
I don't know. You tell me how.
Because it's expensive to build a truck stop.
I'm asking you to tell the president how he doesn't need to do that. The market will take care of the parking. Is that what you're saying?
I think if there's shouldn't there be a market for it?
I don't know. I don't think so. Who wants to go out there and build that? I mean,
well, when you have states building it for free, your competition is undercutting you by millions of dollars. So if there wasn't free,
we have parking out there that we limit truck drivers.
I just don't know where you're going today, man. You started off with saying I asked you for your advice, and then you declined it. Say no, that's not mine. That was the other Drive Safe Dave. And now I'm asking about the parking. I think parking is something that they need to do. They can make it out there to create more product. It's about safety throughout the whole country on that.
I think
that's a little tougher. I think
business to do it. They can't do it themselves. They're not going to have federal parking places that are covered.
So what are your ideas? I'm just asking. I'm telling you, President Biden, I almost called him jokes. He's a buddy of mine. Asked me to ask you.
He asked.
What is your suggestion, Drive Safe? Let's go bringing in more women in the industry.
Okay.
What can President Biden do on that?
With parking, I would be okay with tax abatements on parking for industry, for businesses that already do a good job at it right now. Because there are some companies that already do a good job on parking right now and help take care of the parking lots. Do you agree?
I would agree.
Okay, so let's talk about tax abatements for those companies that can help let business do it, because they seem to do a better job than anything that the government puts their hands in.
Okay, I will even go with you on that. Let's go back down to the next thing. Let's go back to women in trucking and bringing in the veterans. What can President Biden do to help on that?
Schooling. But we can do federal schooling for the veterans that come out and give them schooling credits to go out and get the education that they need to be truck drivers.
Okay, and then they get the credits, but Dave, doesn't it go a little deeper than that? Don't we have to also think about when they get they pass their test, and now you're saying they just go out there and start driving? That's what you're saying. I'm saying it's deeper than that. What about all these lawsuits that are going around? Who's going to, other than the big company, who is going to be able to take a chance on those folks?
How did this turn into an argument? You asked me what I thought we could do.
I'm asking you. I'm going back. No, I'm giving my thing. I'm saying, what then? We get them to test, and then what's my question? Follow-up question.
Oh, okay. I think that we should have a training program also, a federal training aid program with the businesses that are already existing. I don't want to. Who are they? Because they already do that. They have NFI participating today. They have a lot of the bigger trucking companies already participating in that. What about that 300, that 200, that 100 truck operation? We can do the same.
But those companies are running, Dave. Do you believe they run under a different set of rules, that they are not able to bring those drivers in?
100%.
Okay, so what about those folks? Are we just giving the big companies more drivers?
Yeah,
is that what we're doing? Is continue to feed them? That's my question. What about the little company? Who was out there? Was there any small companies out there, or were they all the big boys?
I didn't see any small companies.
Yeah, I didn't either. I'm sure they were there somewhere, probably as a gesture like this here. But I just wonder. But no, Dave, I appreciate those comments, that feedback. Hey, listen, we have an interview coming up with Dave with Utility Pro. We're going to talk a little bit of clothing. We're going to talk safety, my favorite subject. We're going to get away from these other answers from Drive Safe Dave and get into what really matters, safety, right here on BCB Live,
the safest station in the nation.
and welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation, where, you know what, you pay to watch this show because you come and you know we are always prepared for the show. We're not last-second kind of guys. We're live and in action, and we have Dave with Utility Pro. Dave, how you doing, buddy?
Good, guys. How are you?
You know what, Dave? I'm excited for today. Let me tell you, not only do I have you on the show, a fellow safety junkie guru, I now have Drive Safe Dave putting on the bright to try to see what it's like to be like Sir Rick. Drive Safe Dave, do you feel a little bit of power right now?
I feel a little bit. I feel a little safer. I know that people can see me. I was going to thinking about doing the Mr. Rogers thing and come in singing and putting on my jacket this morning, but here we are. We're looking good. Feels good. Feels nice. Everything about it makes me. I tried to represent a little bit today for the flagmen out there and the construction workers out there today to let you know to slow down and be cautious for them. And they need to be wearing some Utility Pro wear out there on the road so everybody can see them all 100%.
All right, Dave. This is an interview with Dave. Hey, Dave, talk to us a little bit. Hey, tell us first a little bit about yourself and how long you've been with Utility Pro and who your customer is.
Well, I've been with Market Share Brands, is the parent company that makes the Utility Pro Wear brand. I've been with them for 11 years. We're based out of New York City with an office, and we have distribution out of New Jersey and California, so we're on both coasts. And our market is twofold. We have manufacturing reps around the country who sell into safety distributors, contractor supply, truck equipment distributors, we'll call it promotional goods. Anywhere that landscape supply, anywhere where there's a population that has a need to wear the clothing as part of their job, we're in those marketplaces.
Man, that's it's good to see you throughout the California all the way to New Jersey and the distribution centers, because getting that product out to those that need it, especially the lawn, that Dave's got the flagmen out there that have to wear this. Let me tell you, I look at this safety industry and the vest and everything you do, all the clothing, and that market, once you become part of this and you start realizing it, it's huge. I mean, when you go out today, and I challenge each of you, when you go out there, look at how many people are wearing, this safety vest, the safety clothing throughout the industry.
Yeah, it's true. It's become ubiquitous, and 15 years ago it was not that big a deal. And then at some point, the Federal Highway Administration started by creating a regulation that said if you were working on a federally funded road, you had to wear ANSI certified high visibility. So that opened up a whole area between, like Dave's talking about, the flaggers, so that work zone safety, people on the side of the road, highway construction, road construction, towing, all those folks now had to be compliant. And on top of that, OSHA got a lot more vigilant about job sites and construction and things like that, where they have the authority to basically go in there and shut it down if people aren't being compliant.
Hey, Dave, talk to me a little bit. We had, and I'm trying to think of her name, from Iowa on the clothing. Your there you go. Your safety clothing. Not only is it made for men, but it's also designed for the women in the industry as well. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. About a dozen years ago, women from Harley-Davidson came to us at a trade show and described a situation where they're working on a production line on bikes, and they're wearing men's high visibility, and it doesn't fit them right, and it's getting caught up in the bikes as they go by with the equipment they're using, the robotics, etc. And they basically were less safe wearing male high visibility than if they were wearing all black and nobody could see them. So that got our heads thinking about it, knowing that women in the workforce, even back then, it was starting to happen where women were working in traditionally male-dominated fields, and that's been growing ever since. So that was kind of our motivation to get started on ladies' high visibility.
Hey, Dave, as we talk about high visibility, how effective is it truly out there in the workplace and doing? Because, we all see people working, we all see them now, but what are the numbers? Has there been a drastic change in numbers of people being injured and being killed because of this stuff?
Well, there's a lot of factors in it, but I think you have two different situations. On the roadside situation, not only do you have people wearing the clothing, but in all likelihood you have cones out there, and the vehicles have all kinds of lights on it. You guys know that in the truck business, how truckers like to have a lot of lights and reflectors on their rigs. That's especially true in ambulances and tow trucks and things like that. So it has definitely reduced, fatalities, related to being seen, so to speak. Like Rick said, you go out the door these days and you could be in your own town and they're patching holes on some street and they're wearing high-vis. You go down the street and the police officer's directing traffic. He's wearing a vest. It's everywhere now, and people are not as surprised to see them have it.
Yeah, and Dave, I'm going to tell you, this is just part of my. I almost shot a picture of my closet. Matter of fact, I'll do that tomorrow. I want to show the amount of high vis, the stuff that I have out there, because it's about awareness. And I think what you all do out there on the awareness side is huge. Other than just the jackets that Drive Safe Dave has on, the shirts, is there other items y'all make besides just the clothing like this? Coats, hats?
We have hats as well, kind of like the big Ranger bucket style hats for heat. Those particular hats also have insect repellent built right into it, so that it repels mosquitoes and ticks and things like that. So we always come at these things at a slightly different angle, in that we try to add value to the product.
Hey, Dave, I want to jump in and ask one more question, because one thing I noticed immediately is that the clothing that you have, it fits a little bit different than, say, when you just go online and order out of Amazon or something like that. Sometimes those come in and that 2X is like sitting right up here, and it's not the most comfortable thing. Your clothing fits, it feels good. What's the difference in how you're getting yours versus when somebody just goes online and picks a product?
Well, first of all, with us, we're a true clothing company in that we design everything in-house for sizing and, for looks. We do it ourselves, and all of our production is supervised by our own personnel offshore. We don't farm it out to a trading company or anything like that. So we kind of have control of the product from its inception as an idea till its delivery to our DC, either on the West or East Coast. That has a lot to do with it. We control the situation all the way through.
David, and as I wear it and as you hold it, you can tell that the material is a lot higher quality, a lot better quality. It's not like the cheap stuff that you can pick up off of at the Walmart. This stuff actually, it's stitched well, it's done well. Everything about it is about a lot higher quality clothing.
Well, we took the approach that folks today are used to wearing, we'll call it performance wear, whether it's from, Columbia or North Face or Under Armour. We all have it, we all wear it, and it can be wonderfully comfortable. And we basically said, we've got to take that mindset and bring it into safety clothing and high visibility, because then there's no transition, there's no worry about the wearer. They put it on and it feels like something they're wearing when they're not working. And yet it stands up to the usage and to the needs of the worker regardless. So that has a lot to do with it, it's true. And it's not just some, shall we say, basic garment. We put a lot of thought into it, and we designed it accordingly.
We sit here and talk about those brand names that you identify and you see on the lapel, and the North Face and the polo and what have you, and the high quality clothing that people are used to getting. Your brand is written all over the shirt. I mean, it's everywhere. So you don't need a little bitty emblem. Your emblem is the color. It is the ANSI certification. It is this. What a great marketing technique to do to make these a lot better. Man, I enjoy this a lot. I have to ask you, how much faster is this going for y'all across with the changes that are made in the ideas of safety?
Didn't come through. I didn't hear you guys.
How much more demand are you getting on these reflective clothing now as safety is more on the mindset of everybody out there in the worker?
Well, it's in so many markets now, and so many places to buy it. In terms of occupations that need it, and so it is an extremely large total market. Just think about even like the big refuse collection companies, like Payne's and the other one I'm forgetting the name of. All their drivers were it. Thousands upon thousands of people who companies who have contracts picking up folks' garbage. They're all wearing it. School bus drivers, crossing guards. You can go down the line. It's touching so many parts of, our working world now that it affords a lot of opportunity to provide good clothing and keeping people safe.
Yeah, when you think about that clothing that you sell, it also has something special in it, Drive Safe Dave, that I know you'll appreciate, and that's that Teflon. Talk to us about the Teflon and how that's incorporated into your gear as well.
Okay, so one of the things I always say, and I think I said it to Rick when we had a conversation, is that the high-vis business is a Me Too business. A lot of people are in it, and a lot of people make very similar styles. Some even use fabrics we use, or similar fabrics. So basically, if you put 10 different manufacturers' stuff up on a wall, anyone would be hard-pressed to designate any one of them as this is Company X, Company Y, Utility Pro. So to differentiate ourselves and to provide an added value to the customer, we do the Teflon fabric protector. And what that does is creates a barrier in the clothing against dirt, liquids, some oils, etc. It's infused into the garment right down to the yarn level. And that means that it's not a spray-on. It never goes away. In fact, when it's washed and dried, the drying process reinvigorates the chemical bonding. It's a green chemical product, so there's no issues there. And it basically, what we say is it keeps you brighter longer, keeps you safer longer. And you're getting it without some kind of a major premium on your price.
Hey Dave, can you give us some ideas of what kind of more inventive ways that y'all are looking to add to the market? Some of these beautiful clothing wear and safe wear?
Well, we're also doing another thing in some of the men's gear, and it'll be also coming out in the women's gear. First of all, on the women's side, we have a half a dozen products with 3 more in the pipeline, and we have other ideas beyond that. We really want to grow the variety and treat the women basically the same way the men are being treated. There's all this talk about, equity and inclusiveness, and they have every right to say that in regards to their clothing choices. And some of my competitors offer 1 or 2 items. We're offering 6 now with 3 more coming. And even on the male side, what we've done is on one of our linings, we're using a printed foil lining so that the jacket itself is not bulky like your old-fashioned ski jacket, but the printed foil lining reflects the body heat back to the wearer, so you can stay warm without all the bulk. And when people are working all day, the last thing they want to do is feel like they're whooshing around like the Michelin Man in a big heavy jacket. So, we found a way here to create a piece that gives them all the warmth of the old school jacket, but with a lot less bulk.
Yeah, Dave, I'll tell you, when it comes to an industry, this trucking industry, the truck drivers, they are all about safety. We continue to work and work more. That's what we do on BCB Live, is to get the word out on safety. There's no doubt that your product here helps us, as one thing we want to do to make sure that you, the drivers out there, understand is that we've got to wear this stuff at the truck stops, when you're getting out of your truck, when you're out in the yard, daylight or nighttime. And one of the things that Utility Pro does give us, and Dave, I want you to talk just a minute on it. is just the variety. I mean, you have summer wear, you have winter wear, you have hats, you have all of these items that are geared towards the safety of a driver throughout the entire year.
No question. I break it down to you have hot weather gear, you have cold weather gear, and then what I call transitional gear. So like at this time of year right now where I live, it's transitional weather, which means it could be 35 in the morning and 55, by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So you're not going to wear a t-shirt and you're not going to wear a heavy winter jacket either. You need something in between, and we have pieces like that with some of our soft shells, which can keep you warm, but they're breathable. So as the day warms up, you don't feel like you're cooking inside your jacket. And that's very true, and especially for your truckers, because they're getting in and out of the cab and whatnot. They may not, in some circumstances, want a heavy piece. They may want something lighter because they're going to be out there a shorter period of time. Like Dave, what you're wearing there, I think is a perfect item for a lot of truckers who are in warmer weather. That's basically a t-shirt weight, little hoodie. Very stylish there, Dave. Very good.
Hey, you know what? And as I was putting it on, I'll tell you, in real world scenarios, we get wrapped up in the moments, and let's just say I blow a tire on the side of the road, and I got to pull over, and I got to set out traffic cones, or I got to do triangles or what have you. I'll tell you, how many times have you been going down the road and you've been surprised by somebody standing next to a truck or what have you because you didn't see them till the last minute? Mm-hmm. I think making sure that you not only when you step out with the right idea and the right mindset, that no matter when I get out of the truck, I present myself to be seen. And I think this right here is a great idea and a great part of playing into that, because we never know when the emergency might be, right? We never know when we're going to need it. But if we have that mindset of every time we get out of the truck, we are seen, I think you also add to the safety of it, man. This is a great feeling light jacket. I was worried that when I got in here, I would be too warm in the studio, and I'm telling you, I'm not. It's actually a very comfortable light suit jacket.
I think in your part of the world, where you guys are, that happens to be a perfect piece for folks. But I think your point is well taken. That the second someone steps out of the truck, it could be a side of the road thing. It could be a terminal with other vehicles, moving around and forklifts and what have you. There are a myriad of opportunities for something bad to happen, and to stand out and be seen like that, even in daylight, because the color will stand out, and at nighttime the reflective stripes come into play and brighten up when the light hits it. So to me, it's just an insurance policy that it's a no-brainer to have and do.
Hey, Dave, from us boys here in Texas, I want to make sure you know, number one, that 50 degrees isn't transitional. That's still cold, okay? I want to make sure you know that. That's not that's cold weather, brother. That is cold weather. That's coat weather. Yeah. Just so you know that side. Hey, Dave, how do, if somebody were to want to order this today or anytime, hey, tell us the best way for them to go online and get some of your product ordered.
Well, it's real simple. It's utilityproware.com. And if your listeners and viewers use the code BCB20, they're going to get an exclusive discount at checkout. And all right, so they're going to get it at 20% below sticker price.
Wow!
Right out of the gate, and we ship quickly. Within 24 to 48, it's on the way. Folks get notice of the order confirmation, all that good stuff that we're all used to when we buy online. And they can avail themselves of any of the product that's in our line, suiting their needs and their geography.
Oh, I like this. Hey, Dave, we're running real short on time. We have to let you go here as we get ready for the next thing. Dave, I want to first of all, hey, thank you for being a sponsor for BCB Live. I want to encourage each and every one of you. Hey, the gear is solid. It's unbelievable. Make yourself safer. Make your company a little bit safer. Be seen. It is so critical on this. Log in. Go to the website, Utility Pro. Put in that promo code. Receive 20% off, which means you can just order more and more. The more you order, the more you save. It's like making money.
It's like free, but different.
That's great. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate the time, and It's great working with you all, and we look forward to our association and to providing quality product to folks in the rigs.
Hey, Dave, before you leave here, we ask all our guests the same thing because we want to hear it from you. I'd like you to state your name, who you're with, and then I want you to say you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Can you do that for me, Dave?
I sure can. I'm Dave Rosenbluth of Market Share Brands, Utility Pro Wear, High Visibility, and you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
All right.
Appreciate that, Dave. Be good, buddy. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Take care,
Appreciate
fellas.
you, Dave.
Great, just great wear, right? Drive safe.
Yeah, it's a pretty awesome. I was worried, and now I can put it on. I'm very comfortable, and I'll tell you what, I'm gonna be wearing this.
You know what?
I hate it because I like it a whole lot, and I'm gonna be wearing it, and I'm gonna look like Rick in the office. It's gonna make me.
You know
mad.
what? If anybody calls you Rick, then we've got problems. That would probably be some more motivation for me. Hey, we're coming right back. We have Buckle Up Bob. We're going to talk weather. We're going to talk safety because this is what we do on BCB Live. Drive safe, Dave. What are we?
The safest station in the nation.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. It's Buckle Up Bob. And man, we've got some storms to talk about. You can see them there around midnight. It was a little bit before that. There was some radar confirmed tornadoes. They're still going to be looking at several of them that they believe came out of this system. And I just want to show this morning, it is in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and up by Memphis and Little Rock. Folks, take them seriously. Listen to the warnings. Get tuned into your local stations out there and seek shelter. These things are really strong, and they came out of, they're just dropping out of there, and you just never know. Just like other four-wheelers out there, you never know where these tornadoes are going to come up, but you can see the threat is pretty large for the mainly Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana this morning. As we go through, you'll see this thing moves quick. So, folks, if you shut down, you're looking at less than an hour in all likelihood. Look at this. By 6 p.m. tonight, it's all the way over here into Atlanta, South Carolina, right? And by Wednesday, it's pretty much out in the ocean. Jersey might see a little bit, but there's the other one coming. Now, yesterday, this looked a little weaker, but it is going to be a little bit stronger now, they predict, as it goes. You can see another lingering as it joins down there in Florida and southern Georgia on Wednesday. And on Thursday, it kind of dissipates. You might see a little bit of showers up in upstate New York, Pennsylvania. The winds are going to be our big issue, right? There's still going to be, there we go. Sorry about that. So as we showed today, look at that. Wow. We had some 60-mile-an-hour gusts yesterday, folks, up in that Wyoming, Idaho, South Dakota area. And you can kind of see they're going to be much of the same today. The difference is now kind of leaves Washington a little bit and Oregon, but it's come straight down into Arizona and Albuquerque. So what you could do, again, this is windy.com. You can look at all those numbers. And here up in Iowa, South Dakota, 52 miles per hour winds gusts, 47. Denver area, right? We have 54 mile an hour gusts already. Southern Wyoming, 43. Kansas already, 32. So again, this is going to get worse as the day goes. And you can see overnight it subsides just a little bit, but not really enough. And then look at that. You can see Kansas, Nebraska again, Colorado. This is Wednesday at 3 p.m. Texas starts to get a little windy. as we look at Thursday, you're still South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, right? Starts to reach the panhandles, moves into Missouri and Iowa on Thursdays. And there again, later Thursday, it just doesn't do weekend a whole lot. And then on Friday, we get a little bit of a break, right, for rush hour. Friday afternoon, picks up a little bit, but you're looking in the 30s. So all navigable with a little bit of speed management. Saturday looks good, but then, folks, whoops, grabbed the wrong one there. As we drag it out here Sunday, you can see, boom, here it comes again. Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma. On Sunday, later in the afternoon, we're going to see some potential 40-mile-an-hour gusts. You can see 44, 40 at Dallas. So, again, it's something you're going to have to watch as we get late into the weekend. So again, folks, we're going to take a quick break and be right back with a little bit of safety.
Welcome back to BCB Live, safest station in the nation. Doing a little mic check there. Nothing wrong with that. Buckle up, Bob. What do you think about Utility Pro Wear? And why in God's green earth is a safety guy not wearing anything bright like this? Drive safe. Talk to me. What do you think?
You know what? I don't know. Maybe he's representing the gray look.
You got a little orange right there, I guess.
I don't know. What are you representing, Bob?
Well, my mom always said I was so bright. That's why she called me son all these years. So I just assumed I'm always bright. No? Not going to work?
That's all right. We can go with that. Hey, buckle up, Bob. We talked yesterday. Boy, we saw some crazy videos yesterday, right? I'm sure you're going to top them today. You always seem to find something out there. But we talked a little bit about, fatigue driving.
Right? Yes. And again, one of the numbers, I want to talk a little bit about the numbers today because you stop and think, it's almost why they don't make fatigue driving illegal. Studies have shown when they put drivers in simulators that have been awake for 17 hours that their impairment is equivalent to that of being 0.05 on blood alcohol content. We already know that you can't drive at 0.02 on safety equipment for a certain number of hours, and 04 you just absolutely cannot drive. And here the same worse equivalent is driving fatigue.
So when you talk about that, let's just kind of break that down a little bit. We're talking about reaction time, right?
Yes, reaction, just situational awareness. You don't recognize things. You're just kind of in a fog and a daze a little bit. And so yes, the reaction time. And then you compound that with any other situations, weather, traffic, right? It's just a prerequisite for a bad accident when you're driving fatigue, because we already see in a lot of the videos that drivers, when they're coherent and alert, aren't leaving enough space and speed, right, or managing that. And now you're going to be fatigued doing that. It's just going to be likely a fatal accident, which, again, they attribute 1 in 5 fatal accidents to fatigue driving. So 20% of them out there are drivers that are impaired due to tiredness. And it's not just trucks out there, so you've got to watch the four-wheelers. There's an estimated 37% of the entire workforce in the U.S. gets less than the recommended minimum of 7 hours of sleep at night.
Yeah, so, and when you're fatigued, when you're tired, when you're worn out, it's a little bit hard, a little bit more difficult to pack the patients that we speak on as well. You can pack them, but you forget that they're in the trunk, right? You forget they're in the cab, and it's hard to practice that patient side.
Yeah, and I'll tell you that when you're tired and you know that where your next stop is going to be or where you're targeting to stop, you tend to get a little bit of a hurry because you want to get there quicker because you want to stop sooner. because you're already tired. And when you do that, you're already making allowances you shouldn't make. Once you're telling yourself, I'm in a hurry, you're going to make decisions not based upon the most safest decision, but one on what on a time frame or what have you. And you start to make different decisions than you would make in an otherwise normal or coherent situation.
That's a great point. You know I've been guilty of that when you get tired and you're getting close, so you start to speed, trying to get there quicker so you can go to sleep.
Get in a hurry.
Right? And it just leads you down that wrong. We talk a lot about how one bad decision can lead to another, and they just domino out of that. And fatigue is no different. You, by pushing and continuing to drive, you're going to lead yourself into some more bad decisions during that time by pushing that limit.
Yesterday we had President Biden and Mayor Pete talking about truck parking, and boy, we just talk about it here all the time, how that does work into a driver being fatigued. Not having a spot or searching for that spot is something we have to do. Gentlemen, thoughts on this? Because I'm a believer in this one thing. I do believe that a trucking company or a person, a driver, independent contractor, that they are willing to pay for that parking spot. And that is where I think that, but they're not out there, right? So who is going to be the first to go out there and buy land in Dallas and put 300 parking spots in there without a fuel island? And Dave and Bob, do you believe that people would pay $20 or whatever that dollar is for that parking spot for the night inside the city of the Dallas-Fort Worth area?
Yeah, I think if it came with like some driver amenity, like a restroom and a facility that you could feel comfortable at, and it was clean, secured lot that not anybody could come on. And in fact, to me, it might even be safer than the other ones with the fuel island and all that, those other things that require other people to get there. But I will tell you, if it afforded me a good, safe spot, there are places today that do very well that are paid parking spots that are secured that have very little.
But there's just not very many of them. That's the thing, and I do believe I'm right with you on that, because I believe that an independent contractor, a company, would be more than willing to pay for that productivity gain, the safety gain, and the assurance to the drivers. And we talk about bringing more women, more veterans. Heck, it doesn't matter. Anybody that wants to sleep at night is going to get better sleep when they're parked at a secured facility rather than the outside. And when you think about the big cities, Dallas, Atlanta, Chicago, and you can't go inside those cities and park, you're wasting tomorrow's day as well. You're wasting productivity. How nice would it be inside the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex? Let's just talk about that. To be able to drive in the middle into Grand Prairie, into Arlington, and have a place to park and sleep, as opposed to waiting out in Tyler for the next day to drive in and face all of that traffic.
It's huge. I mean, it's a game changer. It's a game changer in the ability to be, whether or not you're going to be successful on the next load or whether you're going to be successful for the week. Because one day can damage your miles for the week.
Sure
and I'm telling you, that is a genuine game changer. And the idea and the concept of that in a lot of these highly metropolitan areas, especially around these industrial areas, if you know where you're targeting, right, especially those industrial areas, you know where you're targeting, let's make a genuine space there. When we build up these warehouses and let's find a place to do that and create that environment so that they can be successful as well.
Yeah, would that be a good point? When these warehouses are built, is there a way to put that in mind that they got to build some parking in there with it?
Yeah, I don't know if that's a warehouse. It's somebody that values that business, right? and the problem, let's face it, it's a dollar and cent thing. You know what? When you get the land and you can put a warehouse on it, and all of a sudden it's worth $150 a square foot as opposed to $4 a square foot for the dirt. Boy, it makes that decision, from a dollar and cent side, it's a tough decision on that. So that's where I think that, there's got to be some kind of subsidy, right, to encourage this to happen, because it can happen. There is true value in it, and it's something that, and again, when it comes to safety, boy, it's hard to put a dollar figure on that. The safety that we can give these drivers, the increased productivity we can give them as well, is what this industry needs. Buckle up, Bob. We're going to shift it to the videos. And, what do you got in store for us today?
I don't think we've got as scary ones as yesterday, but we still got some that we can learn from, and some good ones and some bad ones. Again, just a reminder, the lanes are open, but you got to pause each lane 3 seconds, right, before you jump over. Again, nothing in the area, but you just got to get out. Remember, these are habits that you're trying to break as well.
Okay, so why? Let's do the whys. Why should we maintain that lane, those lanes that we jumped for 3 seconds?
Because it's very easy to miss something. Motorcycles, especially this time of year. We saw yesterday where a vehicle did that and blind spot or whatever, missed a white car in the left lane. So you just got to slow the chaos down so that you can make sure we're human. We're going to make mistakes. If you do it too quickly, there is absolutely no way you can guarantee that you did not miss a pedestrian, a bicycle, a motorcycle, or a light-colored car, depending on the way the sun is. They're hard to see too.
And also it's the law. I mean, you're required to communicate, but prior to changing a lane. And if you're doing it all the way across, you're not signaling from that lane prior to changing. You're just running across the road, and it is an illegal function. You can't do this legally, and it's not safe.
This next one, really just a great job. Again, why intersections are so dangerous. You have to prepare to stop, and this driver did that. But as you can see, 2 others did not. I've seen this morning actually coming in, fog and everything, and people ran the red lights and some light fog. So, folks, you just really have to believe in the numbers and the stats.
Yeah, there's not a decision one. Again, this is one of our brothers and sisters out there driving next to us out here in the big truck. We see our brother to the left or our sister to the left. We don't see any brake lights at all. Their mindset throughout the whole thing is to run through that light, and that's the mindset we've got to continue to. That tells us, folks, that our work here is not even close to being done. We've got to make a bigger impact on these, on the truck drivers, on four-wheelers, on these intersections that say, hey, listen, expect that stale green light. And Dave, do me a favor for the new listeners here. A stale green light, what the heck does that mean?
It means it's been green for a while, and it is subject to change soon. It is a light that has, and as you can see, this light didn't just go from green to yellow that quickly, even though we see it in the video this way. That light was green for a long time, and as you approach it, it is subject to change because it has been that way for a while. And these lights cycle, they rotate, and you know full well that you're coming up on a light that's been green way out there. It's probably going to turn yellow and then red, and nobody was shocked that turned. I can tell you, every person here, the driver that stopped, and also the 2 drivers that went on, no one was shocked that light went yellow.
Hey, Bob, when it comes to the intersections, we talk about stale green lights. What are the importance, or what do we need to know when we're approaching an intersection? Why is it so important, them stale green lights?
You know, for one, it's the most 2.5 million accidents a year at the intersections. So when you come to these stale greens, right, you've got to slow down because they're just so dangerous, and 26% of those, that's 650,000, are fatal. And you can see why. When somebody runs a red light, we saw a video a couple weeks ago where there was a pedestrian at night, right? And somebody ran a red light that almost could have killed the 2 pedestrians. There's just so much going on here at these, and this is a big one. So you can probably bet, drive safe, there's 2 turn lanes, left turn lanes probably in each direction, as wide as this is, or as big as the intersection. But they're just, I mean, the numbers don't lie. You know, when you see, we talk about data and managing. When you see this many, 2.5 million, that's a lot in this country. And then over a quarter of them are fatal.
I mean, look at the difference in here, and the driver that we're seeing the cam from. You know, they're all pretty much equal. Let's just take the 2 trucks that are next to each other. Sees a light turns yellow slows down, and he's prepared to stop. This on the left lane, he's never in their mind they're going to stop. And can you imagine, Dave, you make contact with that truck that's sped up to go through that intersection, the odds of living aren't that great.
Not if you get T-boned, especially on the driver's side or whoever side of contact that is. And if you'll notice, this intersection is an angled intersection, which means it would almost be that corner of the vehicle. It's not really would be just into the side. This is almost close to a head-on collision. And I'll tell you what's scary about this is, and people don't realize, people run these lights and they're timed, and they'll edge these lights as they turn green. They're already moving quickly, and they're trying to make the light just from the other direction as well. So you both are racing into the intersection at the exact same time.
Yeah, and again, to show that this was able to stop, this driver was doing 65 miles an hour, so clearly, and able to stop. So again, that other truck had to be going a lot faster than that to try to beat that.
Yeah, I just want to reemphasize, when you see it turn yellow, remember, yellow is not to enter into the intersection, all right? It's just to clear the intersection. So every single person that's in this road and on here right now already knows that when now it is turned, you should not be entering into that intersection. You should be stopping, and none of them do so except this driver.
All right, and here, four-wheeler in the right, I believe it is going to miss the exit. Jumps over late. And again, great idea. Remember, slow down here because you don't know if they're going to turn around and jump back. We've seen that occasionally. So again, great job with this driver by keeping all the space, right, in front of them open and managing that, able to adjust to this four-wheeler who missed their exit.
Situational awareness. Be aware where you are. Always looking up ahead. We see Smith's system involved in this. We see some great driving on behalf of the driver, making sure that they see what's going on, that they allow themselves, to pass that vehicle safely. Be on the lookout for the four-wheelers as we approach summertime and all of this. There are going to be more of them out there on the road going to do their vacationing and all that. You've got to make sure you're always looking out for them. It's just what we do with that Class A.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was watching this. Our driver, not only did they monitor and see this way ahead, but they definitely, you can see where the vehicles are now, and as they approach the four-wheeler that make this crazy last-minute decision, you can see those move on out, and so this driver slowed down, genuinely slowed down, got off the gas to make sure that nothing happened and that something else didn't go crazy.
And a lot of things on this last one that you really want to just be prepared for. Again, we've seen things, you don't know if that person's got that vehicle hooked, and then, they come in.
Wow.
Yeah. Good job.
Did he get pushed over too?
Yes, he did.
Is that what happened on that?
Yeah, so you see the egress right here, the ingress right here as the car comes on right here in that lane that ends, and he's trying to avoid that car because they're being squeezed. And then he intercedes into this lane, which makes it difficult for everybody when and it's not just you think, oh well, I cleared that guy way. No, well what he did was he caused that car to move over into this lane, and it just makes it difficult for everybody.
I mean, is there a worse group of drivers in the four-wheelers? Dave? Bob? I mean, seriously, the moves we see they're incredible. It's unreal what we see. I mean, here and I think it's just lack of experience. This car here doesn't realize I'm going to push this car over into another lane because I'm going to make this tow truck make a decision now. And the tow truck driver, listen, you've got to look out for those folks as well. We want to make this safe decision. You've got to realize where he is, that he's passed you up, and maybe you have to go ahead and slow down. Four-wheelers, you don't make decisions like these are bonehead decisions that will seize life immediately. When we talk about, once again, hashtag in the street Texas, that's not just big trucks.
No,
those are the tow trucks, those are the pedestrians, those are the four-wheelers, those are those intersections we see. Those are people making bad decisions, and I just don't think they realize the impact that their one decision makes on all of these folks right here.
Yeah, and I would add that the tow truck driver has ideally and we are guilty of this as truck drivers too with the trailer, and as you move over into that lane, you push and you squeeze and you make it difficult for other people. What you really should do is, once you notice that the driver is coming up on your right, don't squeeze the lane you're on. Slow down and let them in. You never see the tow truck slow. You never see them touch the brake. You never see them back off a little bit and give the room needed. Instead, they crowd the other lane. And really, it's kind of an experience thing. And I think you're right, Rick. It has a lot to do with experience about what's going on here. You have a lot of inexperienced drivers doing a bunch of things here on the road. And I truly believe, I don't know that they're the C-class drivers, I'm just saying they're the most average driver because they have a C on their license. They're not the most skilled set, right? And the A driver, the Class A driver, is the most skilled, and you want to see the quality work from them out there as the professional driver.
Yeah, and we talk about the Smith system. This one for me was a good example of what the big picture is. A lot of people think it's on the roadway, but at the beginning of this video, the big picture is all the way to the tree line on the right. And since you've got a divider in the highway, that's your big picture there. So you've got, like you said, the tow truck's got to be watching that, but you got to kind of try to get in that habit of looking at the big picture also and seeing that car, this is going to be bad, right? Potentially.
But look, I'm gonna look at the car that does this. So I'm telling you, this car right now, this is a selfish act, 100%.
Yes.
This car on the right-hand side, it realizes that there's a slower vehicle in front of me, a tow truck. There's a big truck to my left, and there's another car in the far left-hand lane. I'm going to pass this person on the right. That was purely
on the
selfish.
Merge lane.
Yes, on the merge lane. My life, where I'm going to right now, is more important than anybody else. This has so many bad things. When this happened right here, the truck that we see, it could have hit that car.
It's called ramping, and they
Well, you can't do that. And that's where I'm saying we've got to target these folks. We've got to get the word out to the four-wheelers. They have to see what they're doing out there and realize that, oh, my God, because, Dave, they did this move. There was no thought what happened behind them.
None. Nor do they care, nor did they care. It was
I just think they have to be educated.
Yeah,
I think if this person saw it, they'd be like, oh my God!
Yeah, they ramped this car. They ramped this tow truck.
Unreal.
They did.
And here, you go by the speed limit sign. There was 2 seconds following distance. So, folks, even though it looks like there's space, you are tailgating. There's less than just right at 2 seconds. But also, the speed limit was 55. This truck's doing 67. Manage your speed. If you're managing the speed here, this is a non-issue in all likelihood. But just pay attention to the signage. It's there for a reason. And make sure you're doing that speed limit. Remember, probably in this industry, from what I've seen, I got to get the numbers to make sure I have real facts, but I believe that on roadside inspections and citations, from what I've seen over the years, 6 to 10 miles over is the number one speeding violation and citation here. And here this driver was doing about 11 to 12, so you're right in that range. So make sure that you pay attention to the signs.
Yeah, and it's not a suggestion.
No.
That the speed limit is not a suggestion. It is a required speed by law at optimal driving conditions. And even though it is a beautiful day outside, you're still speeding. You can't go any faster. Plus, this move right here, it doesn't. If this is a bad habit, this habit is going to be done at 60. This habit's going to be done at 65. This is a bad habit that we've identified, and we're going to continue to talk about. And that is driving too close to the car that is tailgating this one and moving over and tailgating the next one. You are moving from a tailgate to a tailgate. Neither of these is a good move. You can back off and be safe and move over.
Yeah, and once again, we see a bad decision, speeding, right, will lead to another bad decision of tailgating, which will lead to another bad decision of a quick lane change. So again, you just see how quick these dominoes line up to potentially cause a life-threatening accident. Potential.
Good stuff. Awesome. Great videos, great learning opportunities for us. And Bob, you said something towards the end that really kind of hit home outside of the videos to me. And you said, I'm going to do some research to go get some real facts. And we encourage each and every one of you, do some real fact checking on us here. When we don't know something, we'll make it up. Buckle up, Bob. We appreciate you calling us out on that. Some real facts. Our facts sometimes, Dave, they need to be checked. Yeah.
And I believe everyone I tell you.
Yes, we have some great sources on that. Hey, Buckle up, Bob. You want to close us out with a prayer?
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you for this precious gift of life. Lord, we ask that each driver out there, the four-wheelers, that somehow they find in their hearts to make them life-saving decisions, not the life-taking decisions, but the life-preservation decisions. Lord, help us all be safe out there today. Find a way to let them in, Lord, to change a habit. Just give them that wisdom. Lord, we ask all of this in your precious Son's name. Amen.
Amen. I'm going to add a PS to that prayer, Lord. Also, just help BCB Live reach these folks to make a difference in the lives of not only just the four-wheelers, the truck drivers, everybody. It's what we do. Drive safe day. Buckle up, Bob, producer. Man, you know what? Great show today. We appreciate all that you do. Stay safe out there on the road. We're here. We're here 5 days a week. We're here 7 days a week, but you only get to see us 5 days on BCB Live. But you do have an opportunity if you like what you see and you're saying, how do I make BCB Live part of me? How do I get there? How do I take your, here we go, your talent that you have and make it part of my safety program? You just email us at info@bcblive.tv or you call us up here. We will get in contact with you. We'll make it happen. Email us, talk to us, send us some love. We'll see you this afternoon on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Bye, everybody.